Good morning, good day, good evening, whatever your time zone may be, doesn't matter. You are here for VRL only, and today we are here in Spa for round 7 of the VRL World Championship. And alongside me is Alex Bomberg. Welcome, Alex.
Hi Sam, hello everyone, welcome back. Spa, VRL number 51 today. Surpassing 50 races last time out. We're here for the next 50, and we're ready to go around the iconic, I was going to say the iconic streets, but the iconic track, the corners of Spa Francorchamps. Personally, Sam, I can't wait. Always throws up a cracker here at Spa, and I think it's going to be a really entertaining race today.
Yeah, it will be a very entertaining race. Obviously, with an interesting one last time out on season 4 with mixed conditions and a lot of safety cars. Let's hope for more of the same this time round.
Well, if we think back to the F2 race yesterday, 4 safety cars and 1 virtual safety car, so the possibility of a safety car is ever near here at VRL, and we'll have to see how that plays out today, but I'm expecting a safety car, at least.
Yeah, that obviously an option in this race. Tricky circuit, not a lot of runoff area on this track, especially in sector 3, just coming up before the long straight. There's a very tricky corner where we once saw Zev go off in season 3. There will be a tricky place for the drivers to navigate, and I can't wait for the race to start as we have all the drivers running here up.
Yeah, missing just 2 drivers today. Monster for the Racing Point team, who couldn't make it, and Ballina, who is yet to join, so we might see him. We might see him join in qualifying.
I don't think he was racing. He had a birthday of himself.
Oh, well, he's confirmed. He's confirmed for us, but oh well.
Oh, well, I mean, we'll have a good time without him.
We'll do our best. 18 drivers then. Expect a lot of carnage. Up Eau Rouge, there's always someone who goes off. I expect today to be no different.
Yeah, for sure, and you have a bit of experience around here. You won yesterday here alongside Kimi and Marcos, which
somehow
interesting. I
from
wasn't able to
15th
watch
on the grid again. Again, I didn't. It was raining in qualifying, and I didn't get a proper lap in on the softs, so I started 15th and came back to win. So maybe I should start 15th every race because I have a 100% win ratio from starting there, from Austria as well. So I'm not sure what the championship's looking like in F2. It's an extremely tight, interesting championship. So any of you watching VRL F1 today that haven't tuned into F2 before, I advise you to do so. 6 PM Saturday afternoon, or evening I should say, British summertime.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the championship isn't exciting without me in it. No, joking. Very exciting championship with yourself in the mix as well, commentating, and being a good driver as well. You would have thought.
Yeah, I'm impressed, but we'll focus on that another day. We're here in Spa, the iconic Spa pit lane. I've walked down here before.
Flex.
Yeah. I've also, last year, just at 2019, I ran from the bus stop chicane all the way down to Blochimont, and let me tell you do not know how long it took me. It took me about 10 minutes. It's so long.
I don't think it's the 1 minute 14 lap time we'll see you around here.
No. Yeah, I don't think you really appreciate how long this track is before you run to get a Pirelli pitboard from the track.
Did you get one?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. Sometimes I see after the race they like the commercial boards, and they go down a Rouge with them pit boards or Pirelli boards to have a race.
Yeah, and the brake marker boards, the styrofoam blocks, not the blocks, the boards the fans take, and we got our hands on one after. Well, you're not allowed to. You know, if you walk off with one, no one's going to stop you.
Oh, yeah, well, so that's easy pickings there. But here in the
we
virtual
haven't been arrested yet, so yeah. Back to virtual.
FBI
no fans to on the track to steal our braking boards, and we're here. It's going to be a great race, as I mentioned earlier. A lot of teams looking for some big points. Ferrari and McLaren, their battle rages on at the top of the Constructors' Championship.
Cameron having none of it and completely cutting a corner there. He's having none of it. Just going on
about
his business.
A disappointing race. yesterday in F2, so he's going to hope to make up for it today.
Yeah, for sure. He had a good result in Britain, didn't he? I think he finished 5th with all the penalties coming together afterwards. So he had a brilliant result there. Obviously, he decided to stay in the F2 Championship to battle for victories and championships, but he's certainly he's certainly at home here in VRL pace-wise.
Yeah, Kerem's like right on the buffer between F1 and F2 pace, which is it's awkward for us. But you know, he proved last time out with 5th, and he actually managed to pick up. He actually went down in the record books. He's the only driver to ever win both Driver of the Day for F1 and F2 at the British Grand Prix. So, I mean, congratulations to him. You'd know that if you followed us on Instagram at Vision Racing League. So that's definitely a first. I don't think he'll be scoring Driver of the Day after his performance yesterday, but he'll hope that he can make it up for today. And I have to say, Kerem's been a solid reserve so far this season for the Williams team.
Yeah, for sure. But talking about him right now, he's very close to the car in front of him, Lick and Nick. And the Mercedes there, not really that big of a gap. Could that be a problem for him, dirty air-wise?
And this week we got the return of the TAS system, thanks to IGK Esports providing us with the telemetry analysis system. Every lap we can see everything from tyre wear to damage to weather to track conditions, anything you want we have. So again, a big thank you to IGK Esports for that. I'm just currently on board with the new Racing Point driver, Max. Setting decent pace so far, but it's Kerem actually with the fastest first sector. He's on the medium tyre actually, Sam. The conscious strategy here for Kerem, something we don't usually see. It's usually quite an easy one sort of strategy, to the softs to the mediums.
Yeah, that is normally the case. Meanwhile, Felix runs fine on his first long lap. There'll be enough time to make up for it though. So we'll soon see some of the drivers setting lap times, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of lap times they will do. Any predictions for the pole time?
Well, that initial lap from Max, so there goes Domia 41.3. All strong lap times at the start from the top two. As of right now, I believe Kerem might start to trouble them guys. He's had 2 strong sectors. We'll see him in just a moment. It's alright, I've got a beautiful voice. IGK Gill goes quickest, a 41.108. We're going to turn our attention to Kerem now as he comes through the bus stop chicane. It's been a good lap so far, considering he's on them medium tyres. It's not going to be the top of the time sheet, it's only a 42.4. He lost quite a bit of time in the final couple of sectors, so that's where the medium tyres really lose out, about a second and a bit to the lead. But probably expect the pole time to be in the pretty mid 140s. Probably what these guys are capable of. Gil returning. IGK Zach as well had his lap time invalidated, so he's gone back to the pits, as did VRT Luke. And here's Nick Mania, also invalidated his lap. New driver for Haas today.
Yeah, obviously, now I think we're moving, having a little look at the chat there. We have Hot Lap Mode saying that you will think the pole lap will be 148. So, interesting prediction there, right there. Currently the fast time is a 141 set by RTK Gill, followed by RTK Tommy, and then Max Rowe doing a good job in a Racing Point.
Ardpil Gamer jumped up into 6th position there, dropped down to 8th now. That looked more impressive than what it is now. Him, the slowest of the drivers to currently settle a lap. Avesta Racing was purple to Sector 1 before he either backed out or got damaged or made a mistake, or all of the above. So he's in the pits now. IGK Raikkonen as well in the AlphaTauri scored his maiden podium last time out as a reserve.
He did a good job there after a disastrous weekend in Austria, I should say, where things really didn't go away. I think he got disqualified while already being 3 laps down or something. So he really recovered there, and deserved a podium there for sure.
And he's going up alongside Bluesenbolt, championship contender. who's really taking the fight to IGK Domi. It's a battle that I don't think many of us saw coming, but we're reveling in it now. It's in our presence. It's been a great battle so far, and we're just over halfway through the season, I believe, come this race. So I'm really looking forward to see how that final half transpires, and if anyone else can lift themselves into championship contention, because it's not impossible.
No, for sure not. They're not that far behind, especially if these guys drop some points. I think this really was the point right on the season where some of the top guys last season started to drop form and fall a bit further back, make a bit more mistakes. And really, this championship shifted a lot last season, and a couple of mistakes from these guys and behind them, they're already back in the fight. So yeah, just I think head down. I think would be the advice from me. Anyone in third or lower. And I think it's amazing where Pleasure Ball's coming from as well. I mean, considering last season where he was a good driver, he did score a podium on his debut. I don't think any of us saw this coming, where he had this amazing pace. He really improved coming on this game. Let's go on ball with him, Alex. Championship leader.
Shall we go around a lap of the spot at Frankenstein circuit with Pollution Ball braking hard into the source, back on the power. He might pick up a bit of a toe from Sam D. Not quite close enough there, but I think he's going to pick up a distant toe from the sister Rebel there. At the top of Eau Rouge, completely flat in these cars, barely even a corner. Just wait for the crest. DRS enabled down the chemistry. It's all about top speed here. Look for your braking zone around about 75 meters into Lecom, flick it right, lots of curb usage here, open up the final part of Lecom here as much as possible, a little bit slidey on the rear end for Pollution Ball, controls it nicely, down to this long right-hander of Brussels, trying not to lock up the inside front too much as the weight shifts, back on the power, short shifting for Pollution Ball, left, down the hill at No Name, doesn't invalidate the lap here, down into Pouon, is it flat? Not quite a shift down, got to completely avoid that inside curb because that will rotate the car in a direction you don't want it going. Back to the front, into the first of these two chicanes. Pollution Ball gets on the curb, it's well held. It's well held to be fair to him, but he's lost the best part of half a second here. Into Stavolo 1, back on the power. It's still a completely valid lap, so he's kept it within the track limit. Stavolo 2, not too much of a corner, 7th gear, flat out. Running all the way down to Blanchimont now. As with a few other corners around the circuit, not really a challenge in these new F1 cars. It's all about setting up your braking zone for the bus stop chicane, braking around the 100 meter board, down into 2nd gear, getting the car turned in, short shifting through the left-hander, and back on the power. It's a short run to the line. Where's this going to be for Pollution Ball? It's only 9, but considering he lost a fair amount of time in the middle sector, there's a lot of time to gain. Decent considering the mistake, but he didn't look too comfortable in that car, and Luke, as IGK Zach goes up into the lead of 40.9. Luke did go up into 4th whilst we were in all of that. That's good for Luke, who's had a poor season so far, considering he was winning races last season. And I believe Domi's just gone up to 3rd. Or Luke and Nick up to 5th as well, so both Mercedes running quite well. Had a poor season so far, 4th and 5th at the moment, is quite good for them as Nick Mania goes up into 3rd position. A very strong lap for the Haas driver, who are another team who are hoping for more out of the second half of the season.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we have to be a bit fair to Luke. I mean, he hasn't been that bad. I mean, I think for most of the races, he's been top 6, top 5, around that. I think Hanoi was probably his lowest finish pace-wise. So, I mean, he's fighting himself around the top 6 all the time. So, I think he's been alright thus far.
It's not been bad from Luke, but yeah, with all due respect to him, it's not been where he was last season. As there goes IGK Gill, smashing hot lap mode prediction out the water.
There.
Already in the 40.7, so could we go even lower? Just been following Jamil on his lap, just invalidated. Jamil is someone I've been extremely impressed with, especially over the last 2 rounds. Qualified 3rd in Britain before contact with his teammate, of which he took him out of contention for the podium. You're going to hope to return to that picture today, as Avesta Racing has just gone up into 7th position, ahead of both of the Mercedes. Wakanda Raring up into 6th. So some of these stand-in reserve drivers really putting in really strong times, and you got to admit that the practice that some of these guys get, the real world sensation of, you know, racing here in F2 a day before. That's got to help when it comes to qualifying, having just had that experience and going into the session knowing exactly what you want and being able to improve on any mistakes from the day before.
Yeah, for sure, and I think even strategy-wise it will definitely help them as well, so I think the advantage will be even bigger coming into the race. Faster Racing also doing a decent job here in 7th. I did see, I did check the VRL chat, and there's been some contact between Faster Racing and Benjamin or Article Gamer on both their outlaps, where Faster Racing tried to cut the corner. I think it's corner 5 and 6, where he just completely straight lined it, came back on the track, and he took Benjamin with him. So already some contact between between those two, and surely that will give him some penalty points.
Yeah, that's a shame for Benjamin, because the exact same thing happened to him in another league that we raced in, at Spa. So, not with a Vesta Racing, but with another driver, where they cut a few of the corners to gain time on an outlap or an inlap, and took Benjamin with them. So, that's a shame for Benjamin. The Spa curse seemingly for him continues.
Yeah, I mean, well, the qualifying's not over just yet, is it? So,
No, of course, but it's not ideal, because he could have been...
No.
Either on a good lap or setting up a good lap. I've got nothing on my task system due to damage, so maybe you didn't get damaged, maybe there was just some form of contact.
It happened quite a bit ago. It happened at the beginning of the session though, so...
Oh, right, maybe I've just missed that then.
Yeah, I didn't call it on stream either, he just sent it in the banter chat, so that's quite an interesting move from him. Well, I'm sure you'll have a look at that after the race.
IGK Raikkonen's on a lap. IGK Raikkonen, the only driver not to set a lap time so far. This is a valid lap. Not too bad so far. Ooh. Up into 4th position. Fair enough. Right, ahead of his IGK teammate, IGK Domi. Not quite matching Gil and Zach, who, to be fair to them, are on another level at the moment.
Yeah, they are.
Strong laps on Raikkonen.
And I think IGK Gil is definitely someone, if he showed up a bit more, he would definitely be in this championship fight. I mean, he still is.
Yeah,
so,
of course he is. It's not over until it's over. Let's not forget the last couple of seasons we had a title fight run down to the very, very last race. Sam, you'll have to help me here. When was the last time we had a title decided before the last race? I think it was a couple of seasons ago.
I mean, I'm gonna have to be honest here. I think the last time was season 3, so that's only 2 seasons ago.
We'll ignore that.
But I must say that we've had twice now at the last round, so 50-50% chance for everyone here.
If I'm honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that continues this season with the nature of how this season has unfolded so far.
Yeah, a massive shock, I think, for most. I mean, looking at the championship table in front of me right now, I think Felix is not even in the top 20 right now, and Sam is actually sitting in 20th with 4 points. And now, let's say, if you give me a moment, I'll like to scroll back to round 7 last time round, and let's see what kind of points he was on last time round in round 7. So let's just have a little look at that then.
Probably a lot less, with all due respect to Felix. Yeah. It just shows the step up in the league. Felix only 14th at the moment. His old Renault teammate Tim 16th. So yeah, they're gonna have to get a move on. I can see the two McLarens doing a bit of a tow, or planning to do a tow.
I've got the stats right here. Sam was on 63 points in round 7 last time round, and Felix was on 65. So.
Wow.
That's all backed up, and someone who also not having a great season, Tim, 72 points, and Steve was leading the championship with 85. Meanwhile, Marine was sitting there with 71 points. So really, things have really changed in just over in a few rounds with a new game.
Of course, and a lot less points that season for the leaders than what we're seeing at the moment. IGK Domi does lead the championship with 106 points, Deplusion Ball 102 points, and there's a fair gap to IGK Zach and IGK Gill. But if they get a few good results in, now they go the way of championship leaders all the time. It can very, very shortly get closed up, and we'll have a big battle on our hands, not only in the drivers but in the constructors as well, which is looking really tight between third. It could be potentially extremely tight between first, second, and third.
Yeah. Yeah, just, yeah.
Ferrari with the gap at the moment, that will eventually come down if Gil and Zach continue to miss a few races here and there. So, you have no reason to not tune in every 2 VRL as the drivers are starting their final lap. RGK Domi retiring from the session after going third, so we did miss Domi up into third. A few drivers who are probably out of position. Jamil, who is going to set a lap at the end. He's just winding up to start his lap now. Plusenbol, who obviously made that mistake. And I believe Kerem, who's only set a lap on the medium tyres, but he's going again now and is up on his time.
And we want to get Zach coming down the final chicane there, bus stop chicane. That's really not a bus stop anymore, but that won't matter right now. Coming up to the main straight, it's pole for now. Just by a few thousand of a seconds there, but look at the lap. RGK Gil, can he improve? What can he do? Get back on his Ferrari teammate here. He'll need these points to keep up in the championship.
Yeah, further back, Gil's invalidated his lap. He invalidated it at turn number 6, so no pole position for him. However, he should be pretty set in second place. However, saying that, Max in P4 just went purple to sector 2. He's green in sector 1. So could we see a late challenge from the new Racing Point driver, confirmed as a Racing Point driver just yesterday? Is it going to be enough for him to claim his debut pole position?
Can he split him, or is it going to be pole? It's definitely going to be improvement here. I think if he keeps it clean, he does this so, and it's going to be enough for pole. No, it's not. It's P3, not a bad shot at all. So lost a little time there in sector 1, in sector 2 and 3.
Meanwhile, Kerem has jumped up into 5th position on them fresh tyres, so a really strong lap from him, just over half a second off pole position. Nick Mania does go up into 5th position. Avesta Racing has gone across the line. He goes 6th. That's a strong lap from him. Luke has finished his lap. He can only manage 10th. He's at risk from his teammate who's just coming through Blanchimont at the moment. Sam D up to 8th. That knocks Luke out of the top 10. Can Luke and Nick replace his more experienced teammate? Has run to the line. DRS open.
Yes, he
can. He goes up into 7th place.
Good job by him. Jamil still on lap though. What can he do? Can he find himself in the top 10 on the starting grid next time round? Here, bus stop chicane. Tricky corner to navigate, especially on the exit there. Be careful. And is it going to be enough for pole position? Oh, pole position on top 10. Yes, it is. P9 there for Jamil.
It's better for Jamil, not quite as good as it was last time out. There's only one driver left on the lap at the moment. That's IGK Raikkonen in the Alpha Tauri. He's currently green to sector 1 and sector 2, so it's not going to be top of the timesheets, but it's going to be improvement. Where's it going to put in? P6, back up into P6. Strong lap there from IGK Raikkonen, and that is going to conclude, as he does go purple to the final sector, that is going to conclude your 18 drivers as the running order for the Grand Prix.
Yeah, and Alfa Romeo with a bit of a shocker here. Felix and Tim 16th and 17th. So not good at all for them. I get second pole position after not having a lot of fat, considering RGK Gil invalidated his lap on turn 6, as you said. So I'm running you through the grid order right now. RGK Zach on pole position, followed by RGK Gil. Max Rowe in his debut with Racing Point on P3. RGK Domi P4. Nick Mania on P5. RGK Raikkonen P6. Avesta Racing P7. Look at Nick P8. Pleasurable P9 only. Jamil just making the top 10, keeping Kerem out there. P11 for Kerem then. Sam D 12th and Wakana Raring 13th. Luke is 14th. Matthias Gamer finds himself in P15. Felix in 16th, edging his Alfa Romeo teammate, and then Alba Gamer last on the grid.
Yeah, disappointing for Alfa Romeo, but just looking at the gaps, I didn't quite catch them after loading back up on the stream, but there's such a tight gap, considering how long this is the longest track we go to on the calendar, considering how long the lap is here at Belgium. The gaps being, I believe it was 6/10 top 16 were covered by. Yeah, let me just rephrase the top. 16 drivers covered by just under 7/10 of a second, which is really small margins over a 7 kilometer long track, so really close margins, and that's why Luke was 1 point looking up for 5th or 6th in this, so he's as high as 4th at 1 point, ended up qualifying just 14th, so he's got a big gap to make up. I'll have to see how some of the drivers react. So Kerem will be the first of the drivers with a free choice of tyres. Running down from that will be Sam D, Wakanda Wearing, VRT, Luke Matthias Gamer, Felix, Tim, and Ardbell Gamer round off the grid, all having a free choice of tyres.
As we wait, in 8 seconds we go to the formation lap there. So drivers selecting their strategies, setups, whatnot. Obviously there's sparks for me, but you can change the wing a little bit if you feel like it. So formation lap is a go then, and RTK Zach leads away the field coming down turn 1. I'll just
wondering. Yeah, sorry. Just wondering if there's going to be any threat of rain. Because everyone outside the top 10 other than Wakanda Rang opting for the medium tyres, so they could see rain on the radar later on in the race and want to go longer, because it's actually quite rare that we see the alternate strategy work in general dry conditions. So possibility of rain, nothing I can see on the task system, as weather will update once the race starts. We're on the formation lap at the moment. But yeah, rain is a possibility. It's looking quite overcast here at Spa-Francorchamps.
Just like qualifying as well then, so do these drivers know something we don't? Who knows? So quite a long formation like that.
Yeah, as it is with safety car. 4 safety cars yesterday in F2. It gets to a point where it's quite tedious driving around lap after lap under the safety car.
That's the same amount of safety cars I think we had last season as well.
Yeah, extremely busy for Bert Mylander in the safety car. This track opens itself up to overtaking 2 DRS zones, the main one coming after Radion down the Camel Straight. I expect to see a lot of overtaking there, and usually it ends up the driver who exits turn 1 first doesn't always end the first lap in the lead because of the mega toe that drivers can pick up down the Camel Straight. So it might be that if Zach leads off the line, it could be that Gil is in lead, or maybe even someone else come turn 4 and 5 at Lecom.
Yeah, for sure. And okay, Gil's looking quite feisty. He's ready to go to the grid there and coasting for his teammate there. Oh, disqualified from the formation lap, so crash between
Luke and Tim. Best of friends here at VRL.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, they get along quite well here. Bit of banter probably between those two, but funnily enough, it does actually affect your tire wear or your tire temperature a bit, because not everyone will have warmer tires than you.
Yeah, and they're on the medium tires, so that's not going to help. Well, no, everyone's on the grid.
Yeah, probably they have not a too great start there, but enough about that. It's 20 September here for VRL round 7 in Spa, and we wait for 5 left tires to go out. And away we go here in Spa once again. It looks to be a good start by RGK Zach there. He has to cover off his teammate though. Can he find a way down into this turn? No, I don't think he can. He'll have to wait patiently. Coming up for the next few corners here, which are Rose and Radion. Then coming to the Camel Straight. That's why he should be able to line up a move here. Be careful with the dirty air. That can be quite a risk here. I don't think he'll have him through there, but he could have him on the Camel Straight. Is it going to be enough to have him before turn 5? Is he going around the outside here? Oh, no chance there. And Macro finds himself still in P3 there, ahead of Avesta Racing, ahead of RGK Domi.
Yeah, well covered off by RGK Zach there to hold the lead. It's been a very clean start. I was watching a little bit further back, but Avesta Racing has gone up into 3rd position, getting ahead of Macro. Great start from Avesta, up 4 positions into that podium position. What a drive, and it looks like RGK Domi trying to make a move on Max, who can't quite do it, has to back out. That could leave him vulnerable to Nick Mania just behind. But yeah, a very clean start. Everyone keeping it clean, no contact further back as I was watching further down the field. But it does look like both Alfa Romeos have dropped down to 17th and 18th respectively, as Felix does have some damage on that front wing.
Yeah, so a horrible start, a horrible qualifying, and we'll be a long way ahead from here. But Zach still keeping the lead here. That's the most important thing for him. And I wonder where will be rain on their way.
As I said, I'll update you when I get more information, but nothing on the task system so far. Overcast is the conditions as we end the first lap of racing here at Spa. So really close further back, drivers literally falling over each other. Pollution Ball from 9th up into 6th position, but it looks like there's a bit of a train behind him as Wakanda Raring making up positions there. He's had a good start from 13th on the grid. Kerem hassling, trying to get into the final points paying position of the race. Kerem currently the highest starting medium tyre runner.
Yeah, is it just me, or however we are already on lap 3 here?
I think it's just a little glitch with the timing screen. We are on lap 2 to correct you there, Sam. I'm sure that will sort itself out.
Enabled. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had that last race, so I'm sure it will sort itself out in just a moment.
Yeah, it's back already. So everything's good. No DRS just yet. So as you guys, Zach will still have to find it on track. And after luck, he doesn't have any DRS for now. We'll have DRS enabled next lap then.
Yeah, just watching Luke getting past Matthias Gamer up into 13th position. He's made up a position from his starting place. He's going to hope to get a move on. At the moment, the medium tyres reacting better than I expected to the start of this race.
Yeah, they're not that bad, to be honest. Karen keeping up quite well. Still finding himself in that 11th position.
Yeah, saying that, Luke on the medium tyre, fastest sector 1, purple for Luke.
He could go for a move on Jamil here. Into Blongemore, where Max Verstappen wants made a move around the outside of Felipe Nasser here. Can he do the same but on the inside? Oh, it's really close, and Jamil has it round on the outside, which is going to turn into the inside for the bus stop chicane here. They're going to have a big ball move here, and a bit of contact with a wheel banging, bit of argy-bargy. It's all good though. Jamil's still on the outside. There's a bit of, you can't go for a move down on the green stuff there. So he's up into P12.
Yeah, great battle there between them two. It looks like Sam D looking for a move now on Jamil, who's really struggling for pace in the opening stages of this race. He's going to lap number 3. DRS will be enabled, so let's see how powerful that is. Looking at the front, Gil probably not quite close enough this time round to get a move on Zach, but this will drag him closer as Max making a move past Avesta Racing. Both McLarens running really well in 4th and 5th. As with the AlphaTauris, I'm pretty sure the AlphaTauri team boss will be relatively satisfied with their drivers 6th and 7th. Nick Mania in 8th, occupying points 4 passes. Luke and Nick is just dropped 1 position from his starting place. He's being pressurised by Wakanda Rang, who's going really well from 13th on the grid.
Yeah, for sure, and I must say, these tyres are looking pretty warm here or worn out, I should say, for RK Gill. It looks like he has a bit of tyre wear on them.
Gill's actually coping better with his tyres than Domi, as per the task system. Than Zach, sorry, I should say. They're very tight on tyre wear, but Gill with just a little bit more management of his front right tyre. Other than that, they are equal, so no concerns for tyre wears for either of the drivers right now.
So coming up to start lap 4 here. I don't think RK Gill will have an opportunity again if he keeps doing that, because that's a way to dip. But I don't think that will cost him some time. Yeah, the gap has increased to 7/10. It wasn't enough last time. It will be enough this time.
It might be. We'll have to see on the set up for the source. But Max is actually quicker than both of the Ferraris on that last lap. He was quicker by the best part of a second nearly than the race leader. So he's pulling himself back into this battle. The race pace of Max at the moment looks extremely good.
Yeah. Yeah, he just has to remain calm here. Something in front of him could happen, and once again with the same scenario where RK Gill just doesn't have the gap to overtake him on the Camel Straight.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of purple sectors fly up in Sector 1 because of all the DRS trains going on. Wakanda Raring right on the back of Luke and Nick, who's pressurising Nick Maney, who is also pressurising Raikkonen, who's dropped out of DRS of his teammate and championship contender Blusion Ball, who's right up behind his championship rival IGK Domi. This could get interesting. Could have a tasty battle here at Spa between these two drivers.
Once again, after Spa as well, where they had an amazing battle on the first few laps and the last few laps. So will be interesting to see between these two. I think this is the point where you can sort of pinpoint out a championship rival. Meanwhile, have a yellow flag here.
Yellow
That's IGK Raikkonen. After
he's gone off.
After his fantastic podium, it's enough for him at Spa. It will be a difficult race from this moment onward. Let's see if he can still score points, but he's definitely put himself in a difficult position here. Meanwhile, Jamil defending from Tim, I should say, as he's looking a bit slower, with all respect.
Yeah, Jamil going backwards in this race. I'm not sure if it's just set up. He's got no damage. But Tim going all the way around the outside as Jamil does dive into the pits for an early pit stop. So he's going to hope for an undercut here. We're interested to see what tyres he goes on to, but Luke and Nick has made a move
at the front.
Ahead of Nick Mania.
Back at the front, Zach has close right up to his teammate Ajka Gill there. This time there won't be any waiting around here with the DRS plus slipstream plus a little DRS, I'm guessing as well. He's able to make the move down into turn 5 and he's ahead. Max Road is seeing this unfold all in front of him, knowing he's the quicker driver, or at least has the better pace right now. He'll be cheering this on then, because this will only put him this will only put him into the good position he needs if these guys keep battling with each other.
Yeah, last time around Max, couple of attempts quicker than Gil. Nearly a second quicker than Zach, so he really is pulling himself into this battle and doing everything right at the moment. Meanwhile, the two McLarens have swapped round to put a kart between Domi and his championship rival Plusion Ball. Them two drivers separated by just 4 points at the top of the driver standings, so last time out in Silverstone they came to blows. Let's see if that happens yet again as Avesta just pick up a time penalty. But yeah, Max at the moment looking really strong on pace, but Gil, the two Ferraris are really towing each other along, so this could be a bit of a strategy here to try and open up a gap at DRS past each other each lap on the Camel Straight, because we have seen that happen before.
Yeah, that could be a bit of a slipstream battle or slipstream train, DRS train, whatever you want to call it. It's close, and that's what we want to see. So this time scenarios have switched again. That does look like IGK Gill has a bit of ERS to play with. Is it going to be enough to make a move into turn 5 as well, just like his teammate did last time round? Yeah, Rosie has to take that a bit careful as well. Be careful you don't hit a curb or a spin out. Coming up to Renion there, he's done that all perfectly. Is it going to be enough to make a move? Around the outside here, very close. Don't be careful you hit each other off, because that will be disastrous. But they have kept it clean. IGK Zach remains in the lead, just not enough from IGK Gill there.
Yeah, no team orders there at Ferrari like I speculated. A proper chop there from Zach across the front of his French teammate IGK Gill. And probably on the borderline of clean and not clean. I think that was all okay, a late move, but a strong, robust defense from Zach. But yeah, Gill was probably on the borderline. You probably need to be within 5 or 6 tenths of the car ahead come the DRS activation zone to have a go into the Camel Straight. That's exactly where Gill was, and at the moment he's dropping out of that, so he needs to get a move on, because if not, he's going to fall into the mercy of Max Roach just behind him, who again is looking quite strong.
Yeah, and despite this battling in front of him, Max Rowe is falling behind again, so he's outside of the DRS right now. I already saw he was only 9 tenths behind them, but now he's 1.5 behind, so let's see if we can make up some time coming up to Sector 1 here.
He's just within a second on my Delta, so I think you're experiencing a few timing issues last time, because he's definitely within DRS.
Yeah, someone who's definitely in DRS for sure is IGK Gill once again. 6-10 separate them. That's not enough to make a move, as we've seen beforehand. He's had a terrible exit as well, or a worse exit than his teammate. So I don't think there'll be more side-by-side action but for now.
Yeah, it's all still continuing up at the front as a result of that battle, which only lasted a couple of corners, admittedly, but yeah, that backed everyone up, and Domi is on the verge of getting DRS to the car ahead of Max. He needs that, because at the moment he's towing along Avesta, who in turn is towing along Plusenball. So, yeah, he's going to want to break that, because he wants to get as many points over his championship rival as humanly possible, and then there's a solid gap behind of about 6 seconds to Luke and Nick. So I'm sure people like Zach and Gil might look into a gap like that and consider pitting, because that could be quite a nice window if that gap continues to extend, but they still need about another 12 seconds, which I think is a little bit unrealistic to think that they'll pit into that as... Oh, that's Luke who's gone off. Was it Luke?
He's still on his camera, I think. As he's dropped down a few positions, he's trying to fend off Conor Warring there. He nearly touches the barrier there. Both on, Cameron on the mediums, for Conor Warring on the soft there. Karen probably having a bit of an argy-bargy battle with them. Archie Zach is in the pits already. So he's decided to come in already together with Archie Domi and Maxro.
Earlier stop than originally planned.
I mean, that probably confirms there will be no rain on the way there here in Spa.
Well, no rain for the considerable future if they've gone to the medium tyres.
Oh, look at that.
Meanwhile, Domi has jumped Max in the pits, so really strong pit stop there from Marin crew, getting him out ahead. As there goes Plusenball in the pits just behind his teammate, will probably overtake him on the Kendall straight with DRS, so I don't think that'll be too much of an issue for him, but Domi and Max swapping around. That's interesting, that is, as there goes Zach moving past Sam D. That's good for his race and for his undercut, having DRS gaining him a couple of tenths down that straight and no issues there passing the Renault. But yeah, interesting that is. I'm not sure if Max got held up in the pits or Domi just had a lightning stop, but they swap around. That's one extra job for Max to do in order to get that podium position.
Yeah, so if he keeps on it, he might find himself battling with the top runners again. So just try to keep this pace up. That will be the target for him.
Yeah, tyre wear of the front runners looking quite borderline. 67% for Gil across the board. Avesta Racing 68%, Luke and Nick 69%. So his tyres really, all the top three wearing away. They're the last three drivers on soft tyres, other than Wakanda, who did get a fresh set though, so about 2 laps younger. And there is IGK Gale into the pits as expected. Avesta will follow him, and I believe Luke and Nick will get out of his teammate's way and come into the pits, and that he does. And Luke will take the lead of this round.
Well, let's see if the overcut or undercut will be more powerful. I'm guessing it was the undercut, as Avesta Racing fits a new fresh set of medium, just like everyone else there. Red Bull coming in as well, and Plausible moving up a few places as expected and dumping Avesta Racing there, and I just get Zach comfortably ahead of his teammate here.
Avesta's dropped quite a few positions behind Plusenball, so I think that's 2 positions he's dropped. Max though, quite close behind Domi. There's a right train here between Gil, Sam D and Domi. Zach does take the lead of the race. Looks like Sam is going to re-overtake Gil. What's Domi going to do? He can't go anywhere. Round the outside goes Max. That's going to be an incredible move if he can make it work. He somehow finds the gap. He has to take off the track to avoid an incident. Just about misses that Renault. But wow, that was really close. And how they didn't all come together there, I don't know. As Max tries down the inside of the Renault, he should have that move done. There's much more grip on the inside line. They're going to be side by side through no-name corners. Somehow they don't touch. Max goes a little bit off track, but he keeps that position. Here goes Plusenball down the inside of P1 corner. What a move there from Plusenball up in 9th position, which I believe will elevate him into a P6 once the pit stops roll out. Wow, what a battle. Somehow they all didn't come together there.
No, RJ Domin says thank you very much, Sam, and you've brought me closer to RJ Gil, and I've overtaken you as well in one go, so he'll be saying thank you very much. He's now within a second of RJ Gil as well, so we see a move coming up to the Camel Straight here. still quite a quite a far way back though. I guess that coming up the traffic right now. As he has Matthias Gamer in front of him with medium tires here. Meanwhile, we see the clouds clearing up a bit here. So instead of going overcast, it's a little less overcast. So I don't think there will be any rain here coming to Spa-Francorchamps. As you can tell me.
Well, as you say that, Sam, we've got the air temperature dropping 1 degree from 19 degrees to 18 degrees, so I don't think that indicates that rain is definitely on the way, but small change in the air temperature for those hardcore fans.
Yeah, they'll take that information with them. Ajay told me too far back to make a move from Ajay Gill, so no move for him just yet. He has closed down the gap though with that DRS slipstream. Camera straight is an amazing opportunity to not only close down on your rival but also make an overtake on him. And especially if RJK Gill keeps locking up, he'll get closer and eventually overtake him as well. So RJK Gill not having the best amount of time here as he has dropped behind his Ferrari teammate and under pressure now from RJK Domi.
Of course, and brief look to the front of the field, Karen pressurising Tim for what is second position right now. That will eventually be probably outside of the points, but they will come out with fresh tyres. So if a safety car comes out in this race and they're on softs, they're going to be in the driver's seat quite literally to really gain some time on the drivers around them. And that is probably the biggest talking point at the moment as Zach moves past Matthias Game. I don't think Matthias puts up too much of a battle into the braking zone. He's got a front nose in there, making it a little bit awkward for Zach, but he navigates that with no issues. He's up into 4th position, and just reminder, if you're just joining us, 11 laps in, halfway through this Grand Prix, Zach in the provisional lead of this race. The effective lead, once everyone pits, then it's Gill, who's been pressurised by Domi and Max and Plugenball in this really enthralling 4-way battle here for P6.
You know what kind of roaring comes in with the fastest lap, so good job by him. And Jamil just sitting behind there, starting outside the top 10, I believe, or just inside the top 10, I should say. He's now 14th, so just in that midfield battle as well. So that will be interesting to keep an eye on.
Yeah, Jamil's not had a great race by his standards today. Pit early because he wasn't liking the soft tyres onto the hards, and I don't think they're going to do him too many favours come later on in the race. So if I'm honest, I don't see him scoring any points today.
Not like they know if actually Zach had a 3-second time penalty. So
that's not good news for him.
No.
Watching Felix and Sam battle for the wooden spoon. Right on the outside goes Felix of Lacom. Great move there from the Alfa Romeo driver, if you didn't pick that up on your screen, Sam. But great little battle here between these two drivers. Don't think these two are going to be squabbling over any points today, so they may as well do battle here. Sam goes on the grass a little bit there. Felix says, thank you very much, I'll take that position.
Yeah, I mean, it's all for a bit of glory, isn't it? But at least he got some TV time, so that's good for those two drivers there. I'm sure they'll be enjoying themselves, but it's not the position you want to be in.
Meanwhile, Gill trying to make a move on Matthias Gamer, who's really holding him up, and Domi right on the back of IGK Gill here, so we could see a little bit of an IGK civil war. Does Gill want to get past Matthias Gamer here? Probably not, because the Renault would just sail back past him with the DRS. But one thing I have noticed, IGK Zach coming right onto the back of this battle between Kerem and Tim, so this could be awkward for Zach to get past, so let's keep an eye on that and the battle ever so slightly behind. What's Kerem going to do? He's not going to wave the Ferrari on through, and they're going to go around the outside. Kerem's going to try and make a move. Yeah, Tim not making that difficult at all for the Ferrari driver. Meanwhile, Domi and Gill both get past Matthias Game, and Max and Plugenball will have to navigate the Renault shortly later in this lap. But yeah, Zach did surprisingly well there. Navigating them two drivers. I think they were relatively nice to them. They could have been more awkward and drove in formation down the Kemmel Straight, but Zach up into second, and he at the moment does look like the favourite. Don't want to jinx anything, but does look like the favourite to win this race with a fair gap back to the next driver who hasn't stopped, IGK Gill.
I mean, I must say, IGK Gill stopped.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said he didn't stop.
No, he has stopped. He has
Oh,
stopped.
sorry, excuse me.
He's,
But
he's the next driver who hasn't
Yeah.
stopped. And he does have a 3-second time penalty, as you pointed out. So
Yeah.
at the moment, that's dropping him behind Domi and Max and Plusenball. So that's not great for his championship challenge. Let's remember that.
I think right now his mind will be on overtaking Luke, and then we'll see what will come after with the penalty. Luke doesn't come in, so we'll just keep an eye on that, and it will be a bit of a pain in the ass for IGK Zach. VRT against IGK there. So IGK Zach closing right up into the first corner here.
Yeah, Plusenball's right on the back. Sorry to cut you off, Sam, but Plusenball's right on the back of Max, who doesn't seem to have as much pace on these medium tyres. He's dropped out of DRS of Domi ahead, and I believe will be making a move down the Camel Straight as he's just 2 tenths back. There should be an easy move, but back to the front. Looks like Zach's up into the lead, the real lead this time. Gil up into third. Domi trying to make a move. He's moved past Tim. He hasn't got past Kerim, so that's not good news for his race and his challenge for P2.
No, that's not good news at all. He'll have to wait a few more corners. Doesn't look like he has lost too much time, but every 10th is a 10th that you don't want to lose. So
he's
still
actually
very
got
much
past
in the
him
fight.
into no name. So he made light work of Kerim, who remember is still yet to stop. These guys hoping for a safety car. Surprisingly, no retirement yet, Sam.
No, everyone keeping it clean thus far, despite Felix and 7D being quite far back here. So yeah, everyone's doing a good job of keeping their nose clean, and Karam and Tim and VRT Luke will be hoping for a safety car any time now.
Yeah, that would be great for their races. Something would have to happen, but it's not necessarily off the cards, the safety car, because of how tight this pack is together. It only takes one mistake and you got 2 cars out of the race. Meanwhile, Luke is sitting pretty in Zach's DRS. Probably won't be in it for ages, but even if it's for 1 or 2 laps, it still pulls him around. If he's in it for 2 laps, he could gain 2 or 3, or well, probably the best part of a 10th in the slipstream and the tow. Or a second, I should say, definitely more than a 10th. It's very powerful here around Spa. And just getting towed along by the race leaders. This is very good for Luke's race, as this will help him open up a gap he can potentially pit into and come out with clean air on fresh tyres at the end of this race. Talking about fresh tyres.
Looking to go around the outside of Karam here. They've been squabbling along. Yes, they have been overtaken by quite a few cars, but Tim now making his move on Karam as Pleasurable still sits behind these two.
Yeah, Pleasurable not able to make a move yet, and Max is dropping off Pleasurable, so I don't think Max is set up quite as strong as Karim goes wide. Just as we mentioned, Pleasurable not getting through. Looks like he is going to get through around the outside. He does make that work. A little bit sketchy, but fair enough to Pleasurable, not wasting any time at all, and he can get his head down and get after Tim, and then get after his championship rival IGK Domi, who is sort of in no man's land at the moment. About a second and a half to Gil and a second and a half back to Tim Wenting. So you know, he's just got to hope that Plusenball gets held up and isn't able to get onto the back of him, because if he slingshots past Tim, he's going to have the momentum, and Plusenball could close up to the back of IGK Domi.
Yeah, that could be the problem here. If Pleasurable got to make a move down inside of Tim already here, I don't think he will. I think he's just a little
quite
too
close
far back.
enough to be ambitious.
Quite optimistic. He does
yeah,
you're
quite optimistic, Sam, of his ability on the brakes. Meanwhile, we've got a few drivers into the pit, lap 15, and in comes Luke and Tim and Karim. So all of the guys that were battling are going to come out, or come in and come out at the same time. Soft tyres, so let's keep an eye on them and see how their pace is in the closing stages of this race. Meanwhile, Max has closed back up into DRS of Plusenball, so maybe Max is taking a lap or 2 off, and then getting the power back down, because he is well within DRS. Just 6 tenths separate him and Plusenball.
Right now, IGK Zach will finish in P2 right now, as he with that 3-second time penalty, of course.
Yeah, Zach the only driver in the top 5 with a time penalty, so he's got to get a move on and extend that. But at the moment is provisionally, and to be fair, Zach's only 1 warning off another penalty.
Yeah, so
on 5 warnings, so he needs to keep it clean. he needs to find the balance between keeping it within the track limits and pushing hard, because at the moment, if he gets one more penalty, he'll drop out of podium contention. Or one more warning, I should say. It's the same as one more penalty. But Plugenball's one driver who would like to get a move on. I'm sure there's nothing he'd want more than getting up right behind IGK Domi. However, his last lap, about 2/10 slower than his championship rival. He's going to hope to correct that.
He might also have to look in his mirrors as Max Rowe is coming up to him. A bit of a poor exit there, which is very important, obviously, with that sort of straight, I think you can call it.
Yeah, you see, Max not close enough to move down the inside, but Plugenball definitely looking forward more than he is backwards, which isn't great for his championship challenge, because he's going to be gained on by Domi and Zach and Gil as things stands. But there's still 8 laps left to go in this 6 laps left to go, I should say, in this Grand Prix. A lot can still happen. As Matthias Gamer comes into the pits, he's the last of the drivers yet to pit, so everyone in this race now has made a pit stop. He's going to come out on soft tyres. Talking about those who pit just a lap ago, Luke out in 10th, Tim out in 11th, and Kerim out in 13th. Probably will become 12th in just a moment. You see, we'll make up a move on Jamil. So these guys, as Luke makes a move on Wakanda up into 9th, these guys could really come alive and set this race on fire in the dying embers of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, that could be an option for them. We'll have to keep a close eye on it. Luke already up into 9th, so yeah, he hasn't lost too much places staying out that long. You know, and Zach is still very much on it. Only 7/10 to get rid of his penalty, or not take his penalty into effect.
Yeah, just looking at, in terms of warnings, 5 warnings for Zach, as mentioned, only 1 warning for Gil, 2 warnings for Domi, so he's on the borderline of a penalty, as is Plugenball with 2 warnings, Max on 1 warning of Vesta on 8 warnings, 1 warning off 3rd penalty, Nick Mania with 6 warnings on 6 seconds of penalties, and Luke and Nick is so on 3 penalties, as is Luke. So both Mercedes with 3 seconds of time penalties. And then it's Wakanda Rowing with no penalties, as does Wentink. Karim's got 3 seconds, Jamil no penalties, Raikkonen 6 seconds, and Matthias Gamer with 0 seconds of penalties. That's your penalty rundown.
Yeah, back to racing.
Luke
with the fastest lap.
That's a very strong lap. Over a second quicker than the race leader, so strong pace from Luke. He's just going to close up to his teammate at the end of this lap.
Someone's also closing up at Max Rowe. He's closing down on Plugenball. He's passed him. He's ahead before we even get to the braking zone, and he's up into P4. Could he be even under threat from Vesta Racing?
Looking at his times, Vesta Racing not really competitive with these two, losing about a 10th or 2 a lap, and he's still got about 2.5 seconds to close up on top of his 6-second penalty, so I don't think in terms of the final results. So Zach picks up another time penalty, Sam. 6 seconds now on his time, and that makes it almost impossible for him to win this race.
Yeah, that will be only the miracle right now if he wants to win this race and even finish on the finish on the podium. Still possible, with considering the amount of laps we have to go and his pace. 3 seconds towards Max Rowe here, so still possible to finish on the podium, but I have to get a push on and still be careful it doesn't get more penalties. So wait a minute, is he slowing down here?
He seemed to slow down in the middle of that straight. Has he got a problem?
I think he has a problem.
He's slowing down. He's got some form of problem.
Or is he just leaving his teammate by here? Well, that would be quite weird, considering what it would take the lead. Very odd strategy, but I don't really understand this, do you?
He must have had a problem there, because, yeah, that's really strange.
Yeah, very strange. He's dropped himself to P2, and it'll be very difficult to make the podium right now. So,
right, I saw on the straight his DRS is activating and unactivating, so he might have a problem with his brakes, which is, yeah, his DRS went on and off a few times down that that straight. So could it be a problem with the braking system there on that Ferrari, dropping him behind, or more on the pedals of Gil?
Yeah, look. Yeah, I think there's a bit of a brake issue. I mean, despite being there no random engine failures in the game, you still have to take care of your internet and your pedals and everything. So looks like a bit of bad luck for him. And I mean,
Well,
just
yeah, remember we saw, as Pollution Ball gets a time penalty, we saw Marine at the end of last season really start to struggle with his pedals, which is where the infamous great P9 guys joke came from, as he struggled down in the final ends of the points. And that shows how much it can really affect a driver if the pedals aren't really taken care of, and that could be what's happened to Zach, with his brake flaring up when he's not using it. I'd be a bit concerned if he is using it down at the main straight. But yeah, so strange from Zach.
It's already fixed it again, I think. So he's back on the pace, he's back on everything, he's back on the power. So maybe it was a choice to leave him by already, but that wouldn't make any sense. If he wanted to help his teammate out, he could just wait until the end of the race, considering with that penalty. But now
his lap times are still slower. His lap times are still slower than what they were before. So I'm not sure if he's still struggling. But that's very strange, because he's not going to be able to make a move. He's not close enough to his teammate to make a move. So that's something, I'll be honest, that really is something. This has provided a great opportunity for Maxra, who is within 4 seconds, or on the borderline of 4 seconds. If he can not get another penalty, which he's just one warning off, so he needs to keep it within the track limits, and if he can not lose 2 seconds between now and the end of the race, he will score a podium on his debut, Sam. So I'm sure he'll be quite happy with that, as he's pulled a good gap to Avesta of about 1.5 seconds.
So he'll join a notorious list of drivers who's able to score podiums on their debut. So I'm sure he would like that. Just about 3 seconds off now on my screen. I'll just get Zach 7/10 behind, so he's not that slow. He wasn't as slow as he was when the initial program started, but that's something I've not really seen ever.
yeah. Very strange. If it was, I'm struggling. I'm at a loss to explain that one, Sam, because at least in the lead he could have finished third. But it looks like now he's going to drop out of the top 3. Saying that, he is quite close to IGK Gil, his teammate. The closest he's been since he dropped behind. Could he make a move here? You see, he just seems slow on the straight, Sam. I'm not sure if that's to do with an issue with his throttle, maybe not going down the whole way, but I would say we'll talk to him after the race about it, but with the IGK guys not speaking English, that makes it tricky for us. So that's so strange, and I'm not sure to why he's done that, seemingly struggling with some issue with his simulator rig, or what have you. But Dommy, smelling blood here, and it looks like Dommy is on for a 2nd place finish. If I just check, no penalties for Gil. So yeah, that's strange. That's really strange.
Yeah, that is very strange. You'll have to deal with it. He's dealing with it quite okay right now, but it's not enough to stay on the podium. So after a fantastic drive, 2 penalties for him, put him back down, plus the issue as well. So unlucky race for him. He's I wouldn't say flawless, but he's definitely deserved the podium on here. But the problem just put him off there.
Yeah, he's certainly struggling with something. What that is, we're not gonna know.
We'll probably never know. He's still dealing with it quite okay-ish. He's only 3 tenths behind behind his Ferrari teammate. So
that is true, but it's still not quite enough. 1.2 seconds he needs to make up in 2 laps to max row if he wants to keep his podium position. So I'm going to keep an eager eye on that battle, because that could come down to the wire, Sam.
Yeah, that could happen, and looking like it, that looks like the alternate strategy guys haven't really gained a lot from this. I feel Tim's coming in again, weirdly enough.
Probably for a fresh set. Yeah. Is that Yeah, DRS on and off, Sam.
Again, for RGK.
Again, so yeah, so that must be a problem he's having. He'd get close and then it closed and he'd drop back and then he'd open it and he'd drop back again. So clearly some kind of problem there for the Ferrari, which is such a shame because he would have finished second.
Well, I follow it a bit. The last couple of laps, and when he wasn't endangering his teammate, as in overtaking him, I didn't see his flicker. So could it just be a general option just to let him go for some reason?
Well, I don't know because Domi wasn't necessarily pressurised. I mean, we'll have to see. Maybe we'll never know. But we're really getting caught up in that. And a little bit further back, we're not taking in mind that Kerim is closing up to Wakanda Raring, who's on old medium tyres. Kerim, if he continues at this pace, probably won't. Is going to be quite borderline for the final points-paying position. But poor races. Yeah, poor races from the likes of Felix Tinjamil down in 17th. Sam D, who's sort of been stuck at the back of the field ever since battling with Felix a couple of laps ago. As the IGK guys getting very close, we're on to the final lap of the race now. 5 seconds separate Zach and Gil, so that's going to be the gap. He's got to make up the best part of a second. Not entirely sure what the situation with penalties will be when we cross the line. Remember, stewards can investigate penalties after the race. But here comes IGK Zach. Is he close enough? Is he going to make a move? It looks like he is. So, after all that kerfuffle, he's going to move past his teammate. And Gil not putting up too much of a fight. Gil will know the penalty situation of his teammate. And right now, he is in the effective, or he's in the best position to take the win of this race once them 6 seconds of time penalties are applied to IGK Zach, but Dominic as well, a really strong drive coming forward, and it doesn't look like Zach is going to get that gap to Max up to the 6 seconds that he needs it. It's currently sat at 5.1 seconds as for the back. I'm not sure. I'm seeing Matthias Gamer battling with Raikkonen. Matthias Gamer's gone off into the wall, and
bad weekend for him.
Going to promote Ardipol Gamer into unlucky 13th. I'm not sure what that yellow flag was for. Sam D, I believe, has gone off, but back to the front. Zach has pulled out that gap to 1.2 seconds here. So Zach really getting a move on here in what has been an extremely strange Belgian Grand Prix. The gap to Max Rowe, 5.6 seconds. I don't think it's going to be enough for RGK Zach to stay on the podium.
No, it'll lack a few seconds here. We still have yellow flags, but these guys are coming through to the finish line right now. It's going to be RGK Zach on track, but it's going to be RGK Gil on the podium with RGK Zach. Can he still make it? No, just a 10th short of a podium here. That's very harsh, unlucky, but he'll still be somewhat satisfied with P4, I think. But disappointing times for him as RGK Domi finishes 4/10 behind the race winner RGK Gil as he makes up a few points on Pleasure Ball here.
Pleasure Ball 5th. Not the most incredible race I've ever seen of his. Nick Mania on his debut in VRL up to 6th. Avesta Racing finishes in the points for McLaren in 7th. They'll be happy with that. Wakanda, the only Red Bull driver scoring points, 8th. Luke was the highest of the drivers doing the reverse strategy. 5 places up from his starting position, however, not necessarily incredible from Luke. Nevertheless, points are points, and considering where he started, I think he'd be relatively happy.
McLaren Roaring selected driver of the day, but again, as he probably would have made up the most positions.
Yeah, we'll have to see who the drivers actually vote driver of the day, and here is the podium.
RGK Gil.
RGK Gil.
On the top step again, just like in Hanoi, I think. And alongside him is RGK Domi, who will be satisfied with this race, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course, considering where he started to where he finished, and Max as well, let's give a shout out to him. Podium on his debut in VRL. Fair play to him, I'm sure he'll be quite happy with that. And let's give a quick run through of the provisional results.
RGK Gil wins from RGK Domi from Max Rowe, from Zach Pleasurable, Nick Mania with a good P6. He went quite invisible there, but he found himself up in P6. Vesta Racing doing a good job in 7th, Connor Rolling 8th. Look in P9 with penalties. Look at Nick P10, come on, just outside of the points there, not making that alternate strategy work. Ajika Raikkonen, Audible Gamer, Matthias Gamer, Felix, disappointing result for him. Team with the fastest lap outside the top 11, Jamil 17th. And then Sam D will line up the grid. No DNFs, so everyone kept it clean. But not everyone will be satisfied with their race / weekend. So I think that we'll have to call it a day, I think. If Alex is still with us.
I was talking.
Oh, I couldn't hear you.
I had my mic muted. I was going to say we're going to invite the drivers. We'll see if we can hear off Max. I'm not expecting to hear from Dommy or Gil, as they don't speak English. Have a Max with his podium on his debut. Let's see if he joins. Are we going to hear from Max? Nevertheless, really, really interesting race today, Sam.
Yeah, interesting one. A bit of a strategic one. Eventually coming down to penalties. So as we wait for hopefully some of the guys to join the post-race interviews.
I don't know if we're going to hear from anyone today, Sam.
No, we'll have to probably leave it at this then, I'm guessing. Yeah, we'll probably just leave it at this. I want to thank you for watching. I believe there is a week break for next time round, where I think we'll be travelling to Monza, I believe. So
I'll just check that for you. You are correct, Monza. Yeah. In 2 weeks' time, back at the normal 2:30 PM UK time. So you have no excuse not to join us. Quite frankly.
No. I'll thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.